Hello, welcome back on iKeysRacing, another day, another episode. Hopefully I would like to publish something every day, but I'm not in the condition to do it. But welcome back on new and old subscribers. We are around 95 people-ish, and it's more than a pleasure to have you here, so thank you very much. Arigato, obrigado, muchas gracias, merci beaucoup, dankeschön and grazie, because it is more than a pleasure to run something on my computer in your company. Thanks for your comments, thanks for your likes, thanks for your subscription. It's all free, always will be, and thanks also for the first votes on two polls I've placed on our YouTube community page. You can see it also on screen. You can vote which car we will use in the next appointment, and so will be more than a pleasure to respect, from my point of view, the choice you will made in a democratic way. The majority of the votes, the car will be selected, and so I'm just asking for your kind help on deciding which cars we will drive in the next episode. And if it will be a success, let me say, I will increase the moments of voting for this kind of themes that are in some way freely driven by a choice point of view. Differently, instead from, for example, the We Are the Champions F1 Challenge Valero Bertolotti edition, because running from 1950 to 2022, it is instead driven by what characterized, I would say, Formula One in his history, that is technology. Not very often in Formula One arrived something new, but mainly Formula One did pick up from aviation and from other motorsports or scenarios bits and pieces of technology, and it's the case of the 1972 season that started to see the arrival of Monaco. I hope the pronunciation is right, because I don't want to risk to sound with something different, where finally cars were not just a set of tubes melted together, but and with then a sort of coverage to protect the pilot, the driver, but finally arrived to have something like a structure, I would say a central structure, and the engine has become also a part of that structural thing, up to the point that in recent years the engine is the structural part of the car. Anyway, we are in the year 1972. We will be Emerson Fittipaldi, that won his first out of two World Championship, driving for Colin Chapman and the Lotus 72D. Lotus that in that season for the first time exposed and showed off the John Player Special livery that substituted the previous gold leaf paint scheme, but still with what was the Imperial Tobacco Company owning the two brands. So, as you may notice, or as Enzo Ferrari used to say, with the arrival of the garagists and their huge sponsors, who knows those money where they were coming from or going to. But at the end, at least the motorsport fact still remains in place. It was an exciting season with mainly three drivers to be possibly winners of the title. Emerson Fittipaldi, as said, Sir Jackie Stewart, that already won 69 and 71 championship with Matra Tyrrell, and I would put in the equation also Jackie X, that was anyway stunning, even if very young. 2 years prior to this season, the 1970, Jackie X was runner-up in the championship, but happily arriving second instead of first and winning the title, because 1970 on the Lotus 72, not the D version, Jochen Rindt lost his life during the free practice of Formula 1 at Monza. And in the same year, Jack Hicks did not succeed after the death of Jochen Rindt to score enough points to beat Jochen posthumously. Do you say so? I don't know. Sorry. And so after the death of Jochen Rindt was not the only one losing his life. Back then, every Sunday yes, every Sunday not, there was someone injured or killed. In 72, as said, we arrived to a more expanded and consolidated scenario for sponsorship for Formula 1. Was not an exception, was not, let me say, condition of one team or two teams against all the others. Plus, technically as said, there was the arrival of monocoques that were for sure an advancement in technology for Formula 1. Plus, you can see here an air scope, because started to need more dedicated air flow. And so another particular thing of the 72 was for sure the arrival of this added piece of technology arrangement, together with, at this point, regulated and mastered finally usage of wings at the front and at the rear of the car. As said, we will race, as in the previous appointment, the 10% of each race. 72 season will have 12 appointments, so I think I will end up with 4 races for each episode. We will divide the season in 3 parts. And what else? At the end will be exciting to see some new tracks, will be never seen before. We will see many sponsorship here and there, and apart from this, as always, because we are the champions and Emerson Fittipaldi was a champion, we will start each race from the back of the field. While the program will load each track, I will try to summarize for you a bit of history for each race. And what else? Let's go on track. Yes, but before going on track, I will quickly go through each team participating and each driver competing. Bear in mind that F1 Challenge Valerio Bertolotti edition, or VB edition for short, has the possibility to choose each single race with possibly each single driver that participated in that particular race. So this mod is the 72 of the last race of the season, the number 12, that was the United States Watkins Glen Grand Prix. So paint schemes, drivers and teams will be the ones participating in that final season, but as did for the 68, 58 and 50 season, I always choose to get the maximum from the season, and very often at the end of the season there was a consolidated scenario for sponsorship, drivers and so on. Sometimes not, sometimes last races of the season were the opportunity for many of spare drivers to participate in a Formula 1 race, but overall I would say it's the way I have found more complete to show you everything I can show you. So let's go quickly to see teams and cars, and then we will race the first appointment of the 1972 season. And looking at the teams registered for that particular season, we have Tyrrell, sponsored by Elf Petroleum, Ford engine, March Engineering, this to me unknown Clark, Mordaunt, Guthrie, Durlacher, we will see it, Ferrari, John Player Special Team Lotus, Martini Racing, Marlboro BRM, Matra Simca, Yardley McLaren, Rob Walker Sartis, Pagnosin Sartis, Polytoys, F1, I don't remember the car, Eifeland, Brabham and Capricorn. Let's start with Tyrrell. Inside you can find Jackie Stewart and Francois Se4. Jackie was the world champion in charge, having won the 71 season. March Engineering with Ronnie Peterson and Niki Lauda. this CMGO March with Mike Butler. Don't ask me my ignorance, I didn't know this driver. Scuderia Ferrari, 4 drivers, Jackie X, Clay Regazzoni, Mario Andretti, Grande Mario, and Arturo Merzario, the Italian ace and cowboy, I would add. We will leave Lotus for the end. Martini Racing, just with Nanni Galli, Marlboro BRM, 6 drivers, Peter Gethin, Brian Redman, Howden Ganley, Jean-Pierre Beltois, Helmut Marko, yes, the Helmut Marko all-conquering 1970 Le Mans record of average speed with the Porsche, nowadays Red Bull director. Yes, he is. Alex Soler Roig, Matra Simca for Chris Amon, Yardley McLaren with Danny Halm and Peter Rebson, Surtees by Rob Walker, Mike Haywood and Tim Schenken, still Surtees but Ceramica Pagnossin, a very famous Italian producer of ceramic things for your home back then, for the Italian Andrea De Adamic. Williams Engineering Politois F1, now I remember it, is enough to read sometimes. Henri Pescarolo, 4 times Le Mans winner and not only, and Carlos Pace. Eifeland for Rolf Stommelen. Motor Racing Development or Brabham with Graham Hill, Carlos Reutemann, and Wilson Fittipaldi, the brother of Emerson. Last but not least, the Darval Connew Racing Team Capricorn, I don't remember, with François Migaud. We will play as John Player Team Lotus. Our teammates will be Reine Wiesel or Wiesel and Dave Walker. We will be Emerson Fittipaldi, a young 25 years old back then. We will choose the Brazil flag between 68 and 92. We can start so the championship in this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful car, maybe one of the most iconic paint scheme ever. And the championship will start in Argentina on the Buenos Aires venue. Flag rules on. We will have 7 times fuel and tires consumption, time scaled. The maximum driver is 21. Race length is 10%, around 5 to 8 laps for each appointment. And so finally I can read from my old iPad year 2010. I mean the last one when Steve Jobs was still alive, and the iPad is still working and still surfing on the web. The 72 Formula 1 season was the 26th season of the FIA Formula 1 motor racing. It featured the 23rd World Championship of Drivers and the 15th International Cup for F1 manufacturers and numerous non-championship Formula 1 races. The World Championship season commenced on 23rd of January and ended on the 8th of October after 12 races. For 72, Team Lotus focused again on the Type 72 chassis. Imperial Tobacco continued its sponsorship of the team under its new John Player Special brand. The cars, now often referred to as JPS, were fielded in a new black and gold livery. Lotus took the championship by surprise in 72 with the 25 years old Brazilian driver Emerson Fittipaldi, who became the youngest world champion at that point until Fernando Alonso in 2005. Stewart came second in the championship. This was the first year where all the races were run on circuits with safety features on them, and considerable progress had been made since 1968, exactly the season we ran previously. The Dutch Grand Prix was cancelled this year because of safety arrangements that were not completed for the race. It was supposed to be held between the Belgian and the French Grand Prix at the usual location, Zandvoort. Also, a second American motor race called the United States Grand Prix West, originally supposed to be held in April at the Ontario Motor Speedway near Los Angeles, was cancelled. We raced there with a Chrysler Viper on the sports car 100 minutes thing. The Mexican Grand Prix was scheduled to be the last race of the season, but it was cancelled after local interest dissipated after the death of Pedro Rodriguez. In particular, for this race number 1, returned to the calendar in 72. It was the first Formula 1 race in Argentina since 1960. The Autódromo Oscar Alfredo Galvez would be used again and was held on 23rd of January. The return to Argentina in January for the first time since 1960 saw a short number 9 arena configuration of the Buenos Aires city autodrome that was used, and Argentine Carlos Reutemann, in his first ever F1 race, took pole position in a Brabham Ford Cosworth. Defending world champion Jackie Stewart of the UK won in a Tyrrell Ford Cosworth. So because qualification are gone, we can maybe jump to warm-up and race. The only thing left to do is load a car setup, an average one I have used and tried. The race will be with 9 laps, so maybe we can go down. Fuel coverage, yes, 145 liters should be enough. On pole position there will be Jackie Stewart, François Se4, so Tyrrell absolutely dominating the field. Danny Halm, Jackie X, Ganley, Schenken, Revson getting Marco. Carlos Reutemann, originally pole sitter, here in P10. We will start at the back after Andrade Adamic, Henry Pescarolo, Graham here, and so on. So let's go, first race of the season, 72. Let's hope to do our best. So here we are with a beautiful Lotus 72D and with misses, very pretty. They are very missed, misses. I miss very much those misses missed. And what else? Names. You should see my hands decently aligned with the steering wheel. And luckily I don't know how to remove arms and steering wheel. But let's start the 72 season. Almost crashing immediately. How can be P2, impossible, P15. The famous curve on. Big corner, big turn. Very smart internally. All the tires and almost losing the car. There is Carlos Pace doing the rally thing and passing outside. The AI line maybe is not perfect here, but you can improve it and contribute to F1challegeVB edition. Brian Hill passed. Now let's catch Brian Redman, P7, P6 now. Some retirements, some crashes, some pitting. Peterson without rear wing. It's P11, the computer is struggling a bit to cope with all the changes. Yes, it's not going into second gear. Did I lose a gear? No, maybe it's just my level of playing. very slow, Andretti, P22, 21, 20, P4, okay, bump solved. Obviously 8 seconds on Jean-Pierre Beltois in 3 laps are impossible to match. Now 7 seconds from Claire Gazzoni. Two laps to go and not enough fuel. There is a yellow dramatic sign on the right. Five seconds to Ragazzoni. Server retired. I don't know if it is a position gained or not. Ragazzoni passed, 1 lap to go. It's not easy to recognize which is the correct entrance for this corner. Curious about the final classification because it's not clear to me. Okay, they say Danny Halm, Revson, Stewart, Highwood, Beltois, Fittipaldi 6th, so we gain just 1 point. Let's go ahead. So after one race there's a 1-2 for McLaren, Yardley McLaren, Halm Revson, then Stewart, Tyrrell, Highwood, Surtees, Beltois BRM Fittipaldi, John Player Special, Lotus. Constructors, Yardley McLaren 15, Tyrrell 4, 3, Surtees 2, BRM 1, John Player Special, Team Lotus. Kyalami, the race where, if I'm not wrong, Emerson Fittipaldi won the first race of the season. I may be wrong, but is what I remember after reading some here and there. And so let's see if we can replicate the effort of Emmo. No, I was wrong. I was mismatching something else, because the South African Grand Prix took place at the Kyalami circuit near Johannesburg in March. Denny Hulme won the race in a McLaren Ford Cosworth. That was McLaren's first victory since 1969, so a time frame of almost 3 years to see a McLaren back on the top of the podium, back at the top of the podium. And I forgot to say also, sorry, that in qualifying I said Carlos Reutemann did an incredible pole position with a Brabham Ford in his debut, but since the start Jackie Stewart took the lead and won easily the race, differently from here, where we have seen a different type of result. Coming to Kyalami, South Africa, we had Jackie Stewart on pole position and Denny Hulme winning the race. Denny Hulme did lead lap 1, then Jackie Stewart from lap 2 to 44 was the leader, then Fittipaldi between lap 45 and 56. Finally, Denny Hulme, lap 57-79, was the race leader and winner. So we jump the warm-up, we are ready for the race. Let's load an average Italian car setup, with the only thing to change what? 8 laps and raining condition. So let's use the monsoon. I don't know, was not a real so we can maybe use the wet compound to simulate a proper wet condition, because the monsoon was not yet invented. 11 laps of coverage, let's go on track. Okay, at least I know this track. Yes. Is display of okay, flying objects, nice, identified. We are P4 because at the beginning there was that mess that was a car retiring with a black smoke at the back. It was very easily recognizable between the white spray of the water. So more than gift this one. Sorry, more than gifted, more than a gift. Problem is we have 5 seconds to grab from Stewart and François Se4 at our back. Not an easy client. driving on ice or on eggs. Stewart retiring? No, there's something wrong here. They clashed, and so we are gifted also the first position. My goodness, karma today is working very well, but I don't know the following output. I mean, now gifted by P1, who knows in the next races. More rain than before, compared to the start of the race, I mean. And could be not only a victory, but a great advantage against the contenders. Stewart, X, Se4, all retired today. Well, Stewart and X, yes, Se4 also. We don't know after Peterson if there is a McLaren or two. I'm not worried about McLarens in the future. In that season they weren't super competitive. Or simply there is more rain now than before. Yes. Because differently from GTR, GT Legends, without the box at the top left corner, the Yaco software plugin freely available. Here you start to feel tires go away more than actually seeing and expecting that they are going to lose their grip. Niki Lauda 1 minute 18 far. We have lost all the drivers because Niki Lauda is this one and we are overlapping him. Beautiful effect of rain and water spray. More water spray than rain, but also the rain, I mean, compared to many other games, not all the 20 years, is absolutely stunning. So yes, everybody retired in some way. And also Niki Lauda not anymore indicated top left corner. With any gap, so maybe retired also in the pit lane. Many crashes in this race, many of them very heavy. Bravo, bravo Marco, bravissimo. And now, can you do... No, because you have killed the engine. Okay, so the race is over one lap less, because everybody retired, me included, playing the stupid tentative to be quick also on a rainy day. And so Fittipaldi, Lauda, Helmut Marko, Peterson, Wiesel, Nanni Galli. This helps a lot in the ranking, because we don't get points. So if you don't arrive to the end, you don't get points. So it was like a ghost race. Yes, fantastic. Okay, let's go in Spain. Nice, new features that I'm discovering with you with this game, and I didn't know them because I'm playing this game just preparing offline a decent car setup, but then I play it when I record every episode, so I would say something that helps me to learn things just episode by episode. Jarama, third appointment of the season, held in May. The race marked the first time two brothers raced together in F1 simultaneously, Emerson and Wilson Fittipaldi. In the meantime, let's do the qualification. Okay. Qualification that Jackie X dominated, second Danny Halm, third Emerson Fittipaldi. Here we have X, Halm, Repson. Wow. The race was a total domination for Emerson Fittipaldi from lap 9 to lap 90, because just in the first 8 laps there were Danny Halm and Jackie Stewart playing in the lead. Final result, Fittipaldi X Regazzoni. The race will be 9 laps with the rain, but projected conditions are about drying up. I don't trust it, so let's load the car setup. As said, laps will be 9. We are covered by too much. Let's go down to 150 at least. Also 120 maybe, yes. And I would choose this time intermediate, even if I think back then intermediates were not available. So I want to keep things like if they were in the original situation. Wet compound. Then what will happen will... AI line is at least discussable. Passed internally by Carlos Pace. Crashes here and there, or touches at least. You can see it, but lights are becoming pale gray. And we gain the P8 when Regazzoni 7th without the rear wing is in the same condition as Ganley. So we get a P6. I've seen in the mirror someone with an engine in flames. Redman should be easily passable. Hasn't the rear wing. So less grip available. And now the track surface is becoming decently dry. So we will suffer a bit with a wet compound. I wanted to avoid team shanking, to not break the front wing, but I have complicated things more than ever. P7, 8 seconds from Carlos Pace. Half of the race gone, I fear. I will not score points also today. There are some retirements because we went back to P4. We went back. We arrived to P4. Peter Revson today dominating completely the race. Danny Halm second. And yes, it's us and Helmut Marko currently in P3. Bang. Not easy to drive with the worn out wet compound on asphalt going dry and dry. No, the car has lost completely the grip, so my lack of skills recognizing when it was time to give up a bit. Let's try to bring home at least 3 of them. Also because at this point Helmut Marko is impossible to be catched. 24, 25, 26 seconds of advantage. And I don't have any more, honestly, the car to beat someone quicker than me. So one more lap of sufferance. But Marko retired. So we inherited P3. Our brother Wilson, ciao Wilson, thank you. More a gift than anything else. And I was not worried by the McLaren Yardley team, but I want to Repson Halm as third, then Helmut Marko, fourth, Schenken and Redman. At least the current leaders of the classifications are eating points each other after the 1-2 in Argentina, don't remember. And so who I think will then be in the challenge, in the fight until the end. Fittipaldi, Stewart, Halewood, and also, for example, Jack Hicks, no points so far. I'm not worried. Maybe the second part of the season will be a charge back for everybody against the Yardley McLaren. Anyway, next race. Monte-Carlo, fine. Let's go. And the 72 Monaco Grand Prix was a Formula 1 motor race held at Monaco the 14th of May 72. Race 4 out of 12. The track was substantially modified from 71 in the interest of safety. The pits were moved to the harbour front, where we are now, between the chicane and the Tabac, and the new chicane was placed near Tabac. Jean-Pierre Beltoise's victory was the only one of his Formula 1 championship career, and the last for BRM. On pole position we had Emerson Fittipaldi, together with Jack Hicks, Clay Regazzoni. Jean-Pierre Beltois starting from position 4th, dominated the race from lap 1 to 80. Incredible. After racing for 2 hours and 26 minutes, overlapping everybody except for Jack Hicks that arrived almost 40 seconds far. Race of 8 laps. So again, also here we can go down to 140 maybe. The only change I would do is reduce the final gear, because I think at the Monte-Carlo will be not needed along 4th and 5th gear, given that the majority of corners are at low speed. So, last race for the appointment of today. We are recording since 1 hour, so I fear that is more than enough, even if I will cut down a bit things. Type, I mean. Okay, a bit of flickering in the graphic. I will let everybody go because the AI usually does crazy and strange things, especially at the start of Monte-Carlo Monaco GP. As said, do not remember the first or the new chicane, so let's try to not screw up the race. Very big cars to pass here. There's already someone with a rear wing broken. Okay, Reutemann will stay in front. Andretti loses the racing line. So the new chicane was like the one like before. Okay, in some way we passed Reutemann. Not really. Everybody in the pit with the fuel in the middle of the road is beautiful. Another crash, Repson. We pass Haywood, P3. Already 7 seconds far from Jackie X, but it's a podium. Again, but they are stopped here forever. The front nose gone, I fear. Okay, at least we are first, without a piece of front wing, I fear, because the front end doesn't have the grip it has showed initially. So the majority of drivers on strike today all started but parked the car in the pit lane. Maybe a bug, I don't know, multiple crashes. Jackie X is still P2, sorry, with 13-14 seconds of gap. Touched the wall, the sidewalk. So with a broken car, I will try to not be over aggressive. Obviously, to master a track like this, I would need more and more practice. And I think that I do not do, but feel free to comment about is the usage of, I would say, a useless technique nowadays on modern equipment. That is the heel and toe. I don't know how do you call it. Anyway, this old technique when gear change was not synchronized. It's not a difficult technique. I mean, it's more nowadays, I think, for pure fashion than anything else. We are overlapping a struggling Weasel in the same car. But if you like it as a type of technique, I can use it, but doesn't make any difference. You just lose a bit of time. Mr. Walker, are you sleeping in your Lotus? Come on. Let me pass and do your pace. Because for what I know, since the end of the 60s, Ford Cosworth, V8, and not only, had already a synchronized device, if I'm not wrong. But for what I remember, sorry, allowed to not use the clutch while upshifting. But nothing more to say. Last lap. We are finally winning the first race after the almost win at Jarama, no sorry, at Kyalami, when I made a mistake. Even if I was first, we were actually first. But we didn't, what are they doing here? We didn't complete the race. Lost the line. Rolf Stommelen is the second driver currently in P2. And we are overlapping almost him. So for what I know, what was the synchronizing technology available back then? What are you doing, Emerson? Destroying a winning car, but we were running without the front nose, the front wing. Yes. And we didn't know it. There was also the extinguisher exposed. And that's it, I think. Maybe. Okay, this time the program did not crash. Good. To say what? That finally we win a race. The fourth of the season is under our hands, with Rolf Stommelen with Eifeland arriving second, one lap down. But also look at this. John Player Special, Team Lotus, René Wiesel and Dave Walker P3 and P4, Jack Hicks P5, Danny Halm, Yardley McLaren P6. Danny Halm and Peter Rebson are still leading the championship, but Emerson Fittipaldi places a win and a third place, to be already a threat for the duo of the Yardley-McLaren. Rolf Stommelen surprisingly 6 points with Eifeland. Jackie Stewart with the Team Tyrrell 4 points, Heilwood and Marco 3, Beltois, Team Schenken 2, Brian Redman 1, but I think that going ahead with the season will change dramatically things. Constructors, still Yardley-McLaren. Finally, Team Lotus goes up to 14 points, even if I was wondering, maybe the two Lotuses of Wiesel and Walker are not registered as, I would say, regular all-season Lotus participants. I don't know. Anyway, after 1 hour and 23 minutes of recording, the next race will be for the Belgian Grand Prix at the Nivelles-Bollard venue, never seen in my life, so will be a new thing for sure. And so, because I don't know the track, I fear I will do some mess like in the Argentinian Grand Prix. Anyway, we will cut down the current episode here because I'm recording since 1 hour and 23 minutes. I fear that even if I cut down, things will be not less than 1 hour. Plus, this Belgian Grand Prix to me is absolutely new, and together with the Charade circuit, Clermont-Ferrand for the French Grand Prix, Brands Hatch known for the British Grand Prix, and the Nürburgring for the German Grand Prix. This Belgium, French, British and German GP will be featured in the episode number 2, or second part of this season 4 episode 1968. The last third of the theme will be Österreichring, Austrian Grand Prix, Monza, Italian Grand Prix, Mosport for the Canadian Grand Prix, and Watkins Glen for the United States Grand Prix. So at the moment I think it's a tentative, you will tell me if you like it or not, to stay around 1 hour per part, per episode, and maybe will give us a bit more time to digest, let me say so, the season as it will unfold. But I wanted to say thank you very much for watching this episode. Then I will show on screen the recording of the donation of the €1 to Valerio Bertolotti and his fantastic team for the F1 Challenge VB edition, saying thank you to Valerio for the 68th edition we did. And what else? See you very soon on iKeysRacing channel. There will be for sure something new arriving, and for the rest I can only say thank you very much, really, from the deepest part of my petrol head. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup, dankeschön. Arigato. Muchas gracias. Obrigado and grazie for everything you did so far. There is also running 2 polls on under the iKeysRacing community YouTube channel. Please feel free to vote, and the car that will get more votes will be raced together in the next forthcoming episode. That being said, thank you again. Remember to stay into keen racing. Best wishes to you and your beloved, and stay very well. See you very soon on iKeysRacing. From Marco, from Monza, from the virtual Monte-Carlo just won. Ciao. Stay very well. Bye bye. See you very soon. Ciao.